and welcome to Coming Home with Mama T. I'm your host, Tiara, aka Mama T. And on this podcast, we explore the journey of creating the life of our desires. And today we have a very, very, very special guest. We have Sarah Fields here. She is a 20+ year artist who helps women integrate abundance through her programs. We get to become embodied instruments of faith and provide unforgettable frequency shifts. So welcome, Sarah. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, Mama T. As soon as we connected, I was like, yes, you've got some just movement, like beautiful movement vibes. And I was like, yeah, let's chat. Let's find out
Yes.
similarities we've got.
Love your energy, love your vibe, and I love that we're wearing a similar outfit. It just is like screaming to me, so it's so funny. For those of you who are just listening, we have very similar stripe. I would say check out the YouTube picture to kind of get an idea of what we're looking like today because it's fabulous.
This is my jailbird outfit.
This is like my go-to comfy look. I love it. But yeah, so today we're going to talk about manifesting and integration, the similarities and differences. So Sarah, what is your definition of manifestation?
I used to have one. Definitely used to have one. It for a time was like a word that I kind of got, and then I think what I realized is that I picked it up from someone and it didn't necessarily feel like my own. And the person, it was one specific person. Because I know that you've used both, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
And I could just see the people that were kind of moving with that word that I was using. I was like, maybe did I get it from them? Like it wasn't, and I could see that the paths that they were moving on weren't aligned with what I was doing. It didn't feel authentic. And I was kind of thinking, actually, in terms of using it, I'm a massive advocate for women. And it was losing its feminine power. It was kind of creating a bit of more fear in me than anything.
Yeah.
So that was that for me in terms of my it was good for a bit, and then I was like, oh no, give me the goolies. And then integration, it wasn't running through my system. Like manifestation, it just wasn't in my system to speak it really. But yeah, I know that you've used both, and what's been most true for you, I would say. I'm curious to find out, and how do they feel in your body different? Do they feel that they have a similar frequency?
Yeah. Ooh, I love that. Thank you. So one of my things about words is that we all have a different experience with words. So we all have our own kind of, if you want to use the word dogma, we all have this expectation of what the word is, if you will. And so I love utilizing different words because I know that different words resonate with people. So manifestation to me is simply creation, is like a synonym I would use. So manifestation is just like creation from within, from our frequency, connecting with it, resonating with it. And so integration to me, on the flip side, is more like kind of like alignment, like you're bringing in this frequency. Like this is, if you are looking to manifest, you're looking to create, you're looking to experience something, then you have to be in alignment with that same frequency. Like you are here for that creation, and then that creation is also here for you, and we are both coming together in that frequency. And I have to talk with my hands for the friends that aren't watching, that are just listening, but like it comes together in this cohesive, and that's how I see it. And so when I hear integration, I feel like it feels like a clicking of the two frequencies coming together into my body and into my like metaphysical space.
Curious. Does manifestation have does manifestation have a agenda? Not an agenda, but when you initially started feeling into it, did it have, I don't expect it to.
Like when I first started getting into the word manifestation and or understanding of
Or
it.
now?
Yeah. So I think like in the beginning, manifestation, I would say yes, I had an agenda. When I heard the word like I was looking for some like bibbity bobbity boo, how do I change my life moment, right? And like just like fairy godmother, flick of the wand, can we make this happen kind of thing. And so manifestation, the law of attraction is kind of what showed up for me. And then over the years, as I've, had experiences show up for me, the word changed, right? Like my understanding of how we attract and how we magnetize and our energy shifted. And so the word still meant, okay, this is a word for a process of creation in my life, but it doesn't mean that like I have this, I don't know, genie like power. If that makes sense.
Telling me you're not a genie?
Yeah. If only. And just rub the lamp and everything just like immediately shows up.
No, don't never rub the lamp. No, that was a lie. That was a definite lie. Ask the lamp where it would like to be touched, if it would like to be touched, and when it would like to be touched.
Yes, consent, please.
I mean, it's like it's a container, it's an urn, it's a feminine thing, right?
Right. I'm just like rub all up on it. I love it. Oh, this is great. So, can we talk about like your thoughts behind integration and how it all works?
Integration isn't a thought at all. It's a voice. It's it's the voice that I know to be true. And at one given time, there can be all the voices chatting away, like having all the conversations in the mind, my mind, your mind,
Yeah.
And so wouldn't want to biohack you there, would I? So, or integrate. So, and that's, I think, a big piece is integration is consensual. I can expand and I can shrink the voice or my voice, and it can be as loud and as powerful as I'd like it to be, or it can be just me and myself talking. And this is, I think, it came from my understanding of just creation and creativity, partly taking back my power from people who I had realized had overpowered me by their grand speaking in God terms, and then being able to recognize that I'd picked up some of those God complexes and gone, okay, well, I know I can use them when I want to. I know I can expand myself and be all things, and taking on X amount of responsibility wasn't any good for me.
Mhm.
I was taking, because I was taking on responsibility for like the whole town. I was like,
Right.
start with myself and then just like go from there. And so yeah, that was sort of, that's a bit of a piece, is yeah, discerning the voices, being able to size myself.
I love that. I talk a lot about the like contracting and the expansion, right? And so that's how I kind of feel into what am I doing today? Like, am I like, because I have a tendency to be over logical, like over analyzing. Let me think about this. Let me think about it. And then the practice for me is really like, how do I get in the body? Like allow my body will tell me if this is like being soul led or if this is like being like a mental, this is all on my should do list, check the boxes kind of thing. And really how I feel contracted when it's like, this is a no, this is a not right now. It might not be a no forever, right? But maybe like let's switch it up, let's play around, let's do something. And then when I find that feeling of like flowing and freedom and opening up more, then that's like, okay, that's a yes, let's play, let's practice, let's go into that. And so that is a feeling of for me of how I better create for myself and how I actually find what it is that I'm looking for. Like if I'm looking for happiness or joy or fun. Go ahead.
Have you got can you give me an example of one of those times just in the last day? What were you
Oh,
doing? What was, yeah.
perfect. So in the last, it was probably, I would say 2 days ago. Um, I had taken the time for myself to really just like sit in meditation and really take my time in my day. Like I had things like maybe I should reach out to this person, maybe I should do this, or I should do that. And I was like, no, like, but really, I really just want to do this. I want to take some time. I want to meditate. I want to like feel expansive. I want to hold a frequency of just joy and happiness and freedom. And then once I felt like complete, I went on with my day and I was having fun and I was out and about and someone comes up to me and it was like my property manager and he knows that like about 2 months ago had lost my job and whatever. And like he just like walks up to me. We're at the bar and he's like, I'm taking money off of your rent for next month. Like, I don't know, like I never asked for anything. Da, da, da. And I was just like, this was because I was in that meditation, I was opening myself up to like, I'm open to money in all avenues. And like, money shows up to me in fun and extraordinary ways. I'm literally taking shots, and this guy comes up to me and it's like, I'm taking $500 off of your rent next month. And so I was just like, okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And I was like, whoa, how that happens where it's just like, I wasn't intending like, okay, I need rent today or I need whatever. It wasn't so masculine, strong. It was just like, I'm going to free flow today and see what shows up, see what extraordinary is going to show up for me. And that to me was super extraordinary.
Yeah. That's curious with and what kind of practice would you call that? I mean, in Buddhist terms, there's the I just asked you a question. Now I'm answering.
Go for it. I love to hear it.
There's in Buddhist terminology, there's the heart lines. So
Mm-hmm.
there's, as much as we can logicalize and think with our minds. For us women, our voices come from deep within.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I it's beautiful. I think that's such a cool thing. Like, and yes, it's happened to me as well before. And I'm playing a little bit more recently with slightly more some of the darker parts of me, which have, when I say darker, I mean just bitchy, like that are towards myself,
Yeah.
like these feelings of it's like, going through trauma creates it. What it creates is self-hatred. It's like, I hate my body. I hate myself, and rather than like pushing myself to feel better about myself and be like, what if I just allowed that part to have an expression,
Yeah.
and gave it an outlet? Because maybe part of integration is is, create building form through transforming what was a negative, in my mind, voice, like a danger, it felt like a danger. It was dangerous to think that, because women shouldn't think that. Women shouldn't have negative thoughts. They definitely shouldn't say them out loud. They definitely shouldn't say them in public, because, oh my goodness, what would happen if that was the case? And they definitely can't be attached to earning money, artistry, anything that's related to spirituality. And so, yeah, just what it sounded like was that, and there's different voices, essentially, which I think it's in so in time and space. So for instance, there's kind of like whack-a-moles. It's like, might be a party over there, might be a meditation thing over there, might be a little fight going on over there, but like it might be, intentional fight, like wrestling or something, martial arts style. And then, so the way that Earth frequencies work is that they create these different sort of rhythms for us to navigate. And you were in one specific I'd say you were in like the lover, right? So you were being held by the someone who needed a purpose, at that particular moment in times, a person who was like, they needed to something around them to give them some physical strength and some embodiment. And at that time, maybe your nervous system needed that space to be able to open up and experience a loving frequency for more than, a split second before it's gone again, before you're thinking about, trying to make your rent for the next month and stuff. So this is the beauty of integration. It isn't one or the other. It's being,
it's like a whole spectrum. I love that the visuals and the thoughts of like, there's so many things going on, and then settling into the body and just allowing that space was like the practice for me. It was just really practicing being, and I love that you were talking about the shadow work and going into the things that we might say to ourselves. And one of my practices right now is really like looking myself in the mirror and being like, Tiara Jená Hairston, aka Mama T, I love you, and feeling what that feels like, and really allowing myself to open up to receive. Because I find that I have this tendency, like Mama T didn't come just because I like picked a name out of the sky, but like it came to me as like people were calling me that from like high school, where I had this nurturing, giving presence around. And I was just like, you know what? It's about time that, I nurture and love on myself. Right. And so taking more time in the mornings, even though
I have a question. So when Mama T, Mama, the nurturing time, and the way that I just pictured in my head was like, mother energy. It's like nurture, totally. It's very milky, actually. It's like this kind of, sweet, and what came to me was, what happens when the inner children or outer children, whether they're your clients or whoever, they push, that mama gets pushed. What happens? What's mama's reaction? Because a lot of conscious spiritual people will like to go, okay, no, we like to respond rather than react. But I'd love to know what your reaction, like, how do you?
I mean, in saying that, so thank you for bringing it up, because I know, like, in my mind, I'm like, I know that I should, here I should all over myself. You know, I want to be, I want to be.
You should all over yourself.
I want to be in this like beautiful, like flowing, like, oh baby, it's okay, like vibe. But you know, I am a human, right? Right? We're having this human experience, and so I tend to get triggered. What? Who knows? So I tend like fear or not. Well, anger is probably and fear came out for a reason. So anger is probably my knee-jerk reaction, but the anger probably is triggered by some sort of fear of rejection or fear of like separation when I am pushed.
Who gets the anger?
The people that get the anger tend to be the people that are closest to me, that I do trust, you know, on some subconscious level, that they won't.
Do they get it? Does it get as far? Does it even get that far? Because honestly, for so many women, they don't even let it get like to the
out of the body.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, totally. I literally a couple weeks ago was at, and I talked about it on another podcast recording in more depth, but a couple weeks ago I was at this party, and a friend of mine who's like considered my best friend like walked out of the party, but took a whole bunch of people with them, and we were at like a community event thing and took a bunch of people with them. And then I was, you know, being a busybody talking to somebody else, and I just happened at that moment to look up and not see any of like the friends of the group that we have brought to the party. And I was like, did everyone just leave me, and where'd they go? And so I had this like knee-jerk rejection fear moment bubble up inside. And then like I'm texting and I'm calling and I'm like, where did people go? And they're like, oh, we're just going because our community, you need like a fob to get in, like you can't just walk into it. So like they went to go
you just got the you know, the invisible phone call, like, by the way, you're the sweeper, you just last one, you just need to make sure that there isn't definitely not anyone else there. We're all like,
yeah, they're all over there, and like they went to go pick up a person and bring them into the party or whatever. So they were going to be back within minutes, and I was just like, and I like exploded, and I was just like, okay, everyone just left. And I went to like the person, you know, my best friend, and I was like, you didn't say where you were going. I thought everyone left me, like they were going to you were going to take shots without me, and I just felt like not important. And I was like, why didn't you like call or send me something? And they were like, oh, I was just walking out, I didn't ask people to come with me, they just followed me. And so I was just like, yeah, cool, but you could at least tell me. And they were like, well, that's not my responsibility. And I was just like but yeah, so I let it out, and it was in, you know, I was in this moment, and like looking back on it, I was like, okay, I probably shouldn't have blown up like that, especially in a public space. Everybody was looking at me like I'm the crazy person for like yelling at this, like my friend. And then I felt like shit, right? And so I was just like, all right, cool. But at the end of the day, you know, I recognize, okay, that was a fear of rejection bubbling up.
Literally, sounds like that really was the end of the day.
It was.
Was it at night?
Yes, it was at night. It was quite at night. It was quite at night with a bunch of tequila shots involved. But
well, yeah, maybe it was there. What's the tequila, right? Yeah.
Yep.
The regulation o'clock.
Right. So had I not had, you know, the liquid courage in me, would I have said anything? Probably not, now that I think about it. So like I feel like I do think more about how I'm going to respond in a triggered state when I'm like completely sober, and I'm like more in a settled state.
Yeah, my journey with alcohol has been one of the things that I haven't had great experiences with.
Mhm.
And so have phased it out, and unless it's a an environment, like a very, I don't know, yeah, like, so for instance, like that kind of environment, like there's so many other energies and so many other uncontrollable things kind of going on. I think I would be, yeah, I would probably wouldn't even get there, let alone get there and have a few drinks, in terms of like social anxiety type experiences. So alcohol's definitely, yeah, for me, like I'll have one beer or a gin and tonic or something, and that's about it.
Yeah.
If I do that. And I've gone to AA, so I haven't gone through the whole thing, but I do dip into it every now and then. But I more move towards CBD and edibles, just
Ooh,
for
yeah.
pain. And smoking it is still very trippy. Like plant medicine for me, I don't know how, I've lived quite a lot of lifetimes in one body, so I sort of have to definitely navigate how many more trips I give myself.
I understand that. Yeah, as
It's
I
good for
am.
creativity.
Hmm?
It's better for creativity as
Oh
well.
yeah. Oh yeah. I find, that's been kind of a question for myself actually is, I went from, being the wine diva to Mama T, and in that time, like I love wine. I sold wine for years. I still have a wine affiliate that people can purchase wine through. And yet, on this journey, it's like, okay, well, I don't need to drink like every single day, or I don't need to do like, it's just, I don't necessarily want to give it up completely, but I find moments like this where I'm just like, okay, maybe I don't drink as often or as much in like a window, and I can shift that and about my life. I don't think I need to like completely exit out. But I am finding that like, ooh, plant medicine does feel better in certain derivatives, because there are times where it's just like, okay, that edible did not hit the way I wanted it to hit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You wanted it. You want. Oh, but you want edibles to hit.
No, not at all. That's I wanted to relax.
I'm sure they can.
Yeah, and so it's just like, okay, I took a bite and then I'm like, okay, I don't feel anything, and then, I take another bite and then I'm like, okay, I feel everything and I don't want to be here anymore.
Wow. Oh, in which environment though? What kind of space were you in at that
Um,
time?
I've had it happen usually just like, at home, or, at like in a safe, like a safe space of a home like environment, and I'm like watching TV or whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm having back spasms or something. Like, let me have this like cookie or whatever, 10 milligram
Oh,
cookie. And then I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. And then it just like finding the right micro dosage has been like a journey in itself.
yes, for sure. Yeah. What kind of, yeah, I was watching a film after having a joint, well, not a whole joint, but a little bit of one. And just all of the things in the film had such, I mean, I've had psychosis, like full blown, like thought I was inside the TV. So it, you know, um, and and so I can pull myself back from that, which is what I was kind of talking about earlier in terms of like the God complex, and
Mm-hmm.
um, the I feel like what it is actually is like mostly patriarchy. To be honest, it's just like there's this giant God complex that's just like so masculine that just exists like in a lot of places. There's very few places that I've seen where women you know, other than the lesbian and LGBTQIA spaces, you know, they deal with so much, like, you know, these, so this just, yeah. I think I got in the last 5 years a much deeper understanding of minority consciousness. Yeah. Is really what it was. So anyway, I was having that joint, and yeah, just like moments where I was like, everything made sense, but it was just like, all I needed was just like to point my arm at the TV, point at the person who I was watching the film with, and being like, this is the moment, this is the move. It was like, this was the move, this was the moment, this was the move. Like, it was just like, that's all I needed to do, just to be like, yeah, just like hold that, whatever that frequency was that was going on at that time. It was just like, yeah. But now I know it's just, you know, it's all it is.
Holding in that frequency. I love it. Do you have a practice to tap into different frequencies for yourself?
Yes. Multitude. And actually I saw on your Facebook that you are looking at introducing music and sound to your, which I think is very exciting.
Yes.
Because the voices they have, as they move back from being speaking, they blur and they become they're just sound. And so whatever the sound creates behind the speaking words is how what's I going to say, it's a much deeper level of, as much as it feels like nonsense at the time, it makes a lot more sense than the thinking mind. So vibrational again. Yeah. So yeah, the practices that I go to mostly sound. They're, you know, since the hearing voices and not knowing whether I was kind of, because I still get this, like, you know, I'll talk and I'll hear myself speak in like a passionate voice, which is all lovely and great, but if I can't hear it deeper down, if I can't hear, yeah, so being able to always be able to hear myself and drop back into my own body if I feel like I'm a little bit out my own body, especially if I'm talking to somebody new, or wanting to maybe switch things up and feel that actually maybe I need to reconnect to you, and there's something that wants to come through from you. Yeah, the singing thing, I'd love to know how are you feeling into the new evolution of bringing that through?
You know, so I've had such a practice of finding a new mentor, finding these people and allowing other people to kind of guide me on this journey. And the singing has really been more like, okay, let me really practice like guiding myself. And so, you know, I have a drum, and then I lately have just been like doing it, not recording it, not trying to put it out or anything, but like really allowing it to just be something for me. And I know down the line it'll be something for others and an us in a circle, but like it's a part of my morning meditation and connection moment of just allowing whatever comes up and out to vibrate and resonate within me and move within me, and allowing how that feels, and being okay with understanding that even if I don't know what the words are, or, you know, what the exact frequency note is, just allowing. And so that's been kind of this beautiful exploration of self and voice, and creating a container for myself to grow, expand, and understand.
Nice. I love that. But you were saying that you were you, yeah, let's go into, I'd love to sort of journey with the mentorship thing. So in terms of like guidance and having the person for accountability, or although that isn't, I'm just gonna, one moment, take that word. Bye. Yeah. Timekeeping, maybe rhythm keeping is a good one.
Ooh.
Who was your last, or have you got a mentor currently?
Right now I'm working with Melanie Ann Layer and Jacqueline Shaw.
Yes. So what's her latest
We are
program, Melanie?
Melanie, we are Alpha Femme. I'm in that program. And then I did her Invisible offer. That was the identity work program.
Yeah,
and then I'm in
I was meditating the other day, and these two colors came through, gray and yellow. Something in my head was just like gray and yellow. Yeah. Oh, I love those colors together, even though they're on my website. But then her latest one was like all gray and yellow. I was like,
oh yes, her charisma is coming out. That's perfect. That's so wild. Oh, that's so fun.
She just copied me. I mean, it's fine. Just
oh, it's wonderful. But yeah, so
so with them, and because so Melanie and who's the other one?
Jacqueline Shaw, that she does like the activations a lot in her community.
Do either of them have a artistic sort of background or
background? Not really. Like I just kind of got into their space recently, so I think Jacqueline might have a little bit more, but Melanie's is more like focused on like branding and that kind of thing, not so much like music or anything like that. But there are people in like the communities that are very music related.
really?
Inside so there are other clients, I guess you could say, that I've connected with, that as I'm like, oh, I'm exploring this and posting about it, hearing more around that. So getting just different ideas. So this is like, it's like a brand new shift in exploration. And what I'm really loving is this, like, because I had this habit of like putting like mentorship on like a pedestal, and like whoever, it's like, oh, this person is who I want to be like, and like, putting them in this like grandiose place, rather than like, a friend or someone that like, can help with rhythm keeping, as you said. I love that phrase. And just taking whatever their words were as full truth, and not really exploring, okay, cool, like I like this aspect, but not, maybe this isn't my story. And like, so now I'm just allowing myself to like listen and learn and take what I really resonates and feels like it's expansive in my body, and make it a part of me. And then, that also is just the exploration of the singing of like, what feels good in my body? How is it resonating in my like chakra space, and all of that goodness? We'll see when it comes out.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. Yeah, for me, it's like it's more what I'll be. It isn't what I do with my one-to-one clients. It's currently just my personal practice, and the range, and what I've realized is the way that I'm writing my content, my marketing, if you will, for my group course, I have so much more so much more rhythm, and so much more just joy and freedom to write as I write it. I'm able to write with the same what's just, I guess, realness. Yeah, realness is the word. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Integrate. The word is integrative, because it isn't, I'm not like having to try to do anything. I'm not having to overthink which is what I was doing before, is massively overthinking everything and getting into a spiral of creating like copy paste formulas, because I was trying to sell something, but it wasn't at all. Yeah, it was just like, it wasn't, that isn't what, if I don't like myself, if I don't like what I'm writing, why would anybody want to come and join whatever I'm doing? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense for me to like morph myself into being someone completely different. I'm an artist. I've been an artist for 20 years. Like, it's just writing from the same place that I create everything from. So yeah, it's just, I think I've got about like 60, I think I'm maybe 65 pieces ish, but just full freedom to write in and take time away from technology as well. And so that when I come back to technology, I'm like, all right. And then I remember what I can do and what I can't do. Like, I can't write, I'm too sensitive to write, like,
on your phone, and you're like,
yeah. Charades. You win.
I love it.
So yeah, it's like, so I just look at the paper and then I just talk it. Paper, talk it.
Oh, I love, I'm glad that you said talk it, because that's something that I've been finding with creating my content as well, is one, does this feel like integrated, right? And so in speaking out rather than typing out on my phone or whatever, because usually like I get my inspiration for my content like first thing in the morning, like I lay down, I'm like, kind of meditating and then thinking about things and just having my me time, and then some like aha thing will pop up and I'm like, ooh, I need to write about it or make a reel out of it or whatever, and I will start. And then I find that if I hit the like voice memo or like the record, like text to talk, and like I speak it into my phone, I can hear myself. I feel like I can feel it throughout my body, and not just like have it tip, tip, tap, 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 tap. And then like just when I'm tapping into the phone, it's more strategy, right? Like it's like into this, okay, I learned this about social media. I've learned that. What time is it? Is this the right time window to post? Da, 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 rather than just like feeling it, right? And so that feeling, that singing, all of that is like coming into that big practice of letting go of all of the minutia that I've learned over the years of how to be a good coach, how to be a good this, how to rebrand, da, 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 like letting all of that go, cutting all of those cords and starting fresh and new and what feels right for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And is that, so what you were saying was that it's in the morning time you're better?
In the morning time, yeah, I find that I think part of it is like I enjoy setting my day up where I get the things done, and then I can be for the rest of the day. I can just like I can live for the rest of the day. So I'd rather like, kind of like knock some things out and then
I am dog shit in the morning. Genuine. Takes me till about kind of 1-2 o'clock. I start to find some juice. Yeah. I used to be morning, but not, and I go through phases. It does shift and change. But yeah, the afternoon time is a bit more wide.
Yeah.
And then evening times. So it has been known. So after I sort of had that initial psychosis thing, I can get myself into a flow where I literally can't stop. I can't stop myself. There's too much information. Power. I'd actually say, yeah, I would call it power.
Yeah.
So just pop a sleeping pill and get my sleep that way. Like it's which is another piece of integration between the, you know, the organic and the chemical, the natural, you know, the psychotropic and the people who take psychotropics and psychedelics and then end up at places going, I'm God, and then they need the other directional help, or a parent who's, you know, got some experience in putting the child back in the thing, but it's not possible really, is it? But it's yeah, so that's been known to happen, which I carried a bit of shame from, I think. But I think, yeah, it's important to it's important for people to know that they can go and get help if they can't go to sleep.
Yes.
For 15 straight days.
Oh no. Yes. Definitely get the help. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So much.
So, well, you're coming on my podcast next, and we're gonna carry this conversation on for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got things coming up, haven't you? You've got something, a group program. Tell us about your group program.
So I have the home membership, and so in that space, that's really like my overall goal is to have 13 million people live fulfilling lives. And so I'm here as a facilitator, a nurturer, to help mentor and heal on that journey of, you know, taking radical self-responsibility for living out a fulfilled life. And so that space is really, you know, to drop in, offer some like workshops, mentorship, energy healing, nurturing for the mind, body, and spirit. And so, you know, it's a monthly membership. You can pay for the full year ahead of time. Everything's on my website, www.mamateenergy.com. I also have the Activate Your Inner Shift meditation series, which is a free series to really help align your mind with like, who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? How do you want to move forward into creation and living out the life of your desires? And then I have other little fun things, like I have the one-on-one mentorship. I have energy, like spatial energy healing, because like I'm really good at going into people's spaces and like clearing out like all the like low vibrations, and like, you know, for making it a safe and sacred space for homes and work and businesses and that kind of thing. So I'm really good at that. Reiki healing for like the person, and tarot readings, of course. But what about you? What do you have going on?
I've got Temple coming up, which is my it's an open space for women to come and integrate abundance, eros, and art. So they don't have to be an established artist or have been doing art, you know, in some capacity, or being an artist for 20 years. They just need to want to live as an artist and have just let go of a lot of the like what's the word, ways that they disconnect from their truth in all of their shapes and sizes and capacities and their capabilities, you know. Like I was sharing earlier, I want it to be a space where they can come and talk about the stuff that they wouldn't say to anybody, and be held and expressed, or not expressed. They would have to do the expressing themselves, obviously, but they just to allow all of their personalities, because we don't just have one personality, you know. There isn't just this, you know, you're a good girl or you're a, you're a wealth coach, or you can earn. I have earned such a lot of money from being a dating coach. Like, I wasn't a dating coach, I was just always just myself, but through the path of, because as an artist I've always been a lover. Like, it is just me. I have a lot to give. When I have it, I got a lot to give. And so there's this link between that I've had to continually take off and be like, money isn't money. Making money isn't isn't separate to being an artist. Money isn't separate to being a lover. They're all the same. They are. So, creating just a space for women to continually play and remind themselves of what they know to be true, and be able to write just with passion and truth and freedom, and just bring this, whatever this is, hopefully it isn't catching, but
I love that.
Yeah.
Just a beautiful sacred space to be creative and let down the wall.
Or make money as well.
Yeah.
Like create with the intention to, which is why it's called temple, because our temple initially is our body, our temple is our mind. But our temples are, I write with passion, and I have all this space, and I have this, I create space, like future, so that I can do this. Like, it isn't for me, it isn't a case of working in the immediate, like the time. I know that my body, because of my past traumas, I know that I have to create big wide spaces to then have this open wide channel to be able to create from the most happy place. And with where was I going with that? And I always have this in the back of my head that in the UK women have, I think it's like 13, it was still only at like 13% of land ownership. There's so much that we can do. We get to choose how we do it. We get to choose what kind of energy we're doing it from. Are we doing it from just numbers games, playing each other, or are we doing it from, there's different ways of playing the numbers games. Numbers are what we are. Our system is calibrated, and we get to
binary code, all of that.
Say that again.
It's like frequency, binary code, all of that. We are all
binary. We're binary and non-binary. So it's been or for me, this process is I get to be able to zoom all the way back out and it come from the non-binary place, the fluid place, and play with it, so yes, so that's coming up. So we'll give you the link and you can come and have a little look. And I'd love to. It's I mean, it's going to be what it's going to be. I'm not attached to it being anything, to be honest, because the process is just so enjoyable. And so come on, give me your reading. I'm ready for a tarot.
You're ready. All right, let's get it. Beautiful. We have the Seven of Pentacles. There we go. The Seven of Pentacles here. And it's like you have all the seeds planted for, I feel like this is more tied to your temple, but you have all the seeds planted. Everything is ready and going and ready to bring forth the sprouting roots. I love the Light Seers Tarot deck because it's just so beautiful. So you have everything ready and waiting. So you don't need to get into an overthinking space, which I think is perfect for our conversation here of like integration, right? When we allow our human minds to start chattering and doing all the things, that pulls us out of this soul-led space, this integrated space of creation. So when we like step out of this like
Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, I love it.
when we step out of this space of like allowing our brains to just take over and run rapid with the shoulda, coulda, woulda, blah, 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 whatever, we really take ownership of our creation. We become the masters of what it is that we are living and our desires, and we become the creator, the author, the artist of this life experience. So that's the Eight of Pentacles for you there. So there you go. So just like get into that body, get into that creation mode, and then allow everything else to just flow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You're so welcome.
Oh, hold on. But you're telling me to go in. But what if I want to come out?
When you go in, everything that needs to come out will come out. Oh, yes. Beautiful. Thank you so much for your time, your space, and energy today. This is amazing.
Thank you. It's been wonderful.
Yes.
And for my listeners, they get you at mamatee.com?
Mamateeenergy.com. And I will put everything in the show notes. And what is your website as well?
I've got, it's better if they go to my Instagram and then they can get my Linktree link. It's at Sarah, she is Sarah Fields.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sarah, for your time. Thank you. And thank you for those who are listening, watching, all of that good stuff. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Mm-hmm. All the links are in the show notes for anything that you want access to. And I love you.
Write reviews as well, people.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for that. Write reviews. If you love what you're hearing, write reviews. Help us to get the word out and spread and hit those 13 million people that we're changing lives and living fulfilling lives.
Definitely. Thank you, sister.
Thank you.